Okay, so coming in from the side of the tractor, you can see the radiator hose is right here. That's what's leaking. So to get that off, we need to take off the hood, which also is going to be meaning that the gas tank needs to come off as well. So we'll disconnect from here, so all that can come up and off. And to get to that, there's bolts down here on the side of the front. We'll disconnect the headlights and then also the bolts that go up along the top of the dash here. So that's the project we're gonna be working on today. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is just disconnect the battery. So the main reason we're disconnecting the battery is because the fuel is gonna have to get drained. We don't wanna have any chance of any kind of spark or anything. So just to be safe. And then also we're gonna have to disconnect the lines leading into the headlights because some of that stuff runs up and over where the gas tank is. And again, all that's gonna be coming off. So just easier just to disconnect that now. So to drain the gas, I'm gonna be using this little transfer pump. I'll link the code for that on Amazon, but it works pretty well. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is just make sure your fuel is all the way off. So normally it's a good idea to do this every time you get done using the tractor anyways, but again, I open it and just shut it back down so you guys can see that. And then we're gonna disconnect this line from here. We might get a little bit that spills out of here, but I have something underneath to catch that. But basically you wanna get this glass bowl off and this disconnected. The main reason to take the glass bowl off and set it somewhere safe is so that when you're pulling all this off, you don't accidentally crack it or anything. So that's what we'll work on next. So you can see down in there, that is all sediment that's caught in this instead of going in through your fuel system. So that's the point of this bowl, is to catch this kind of nasty sludge. So it's definitely doing its job, which is an awesome thing. We'll get that cleaned up, of course, really well before we put it back in. Okay, then this just is held on by like a spring basically, so then that can come loose. We'll get that cleaned up a little bit as well. Okay, so up here I'm just disconnecting the lines, the positive and negative that lead up to the front for the headlights. So we'll bring that back. That's going to be different based on how your headlights are run for yours, because that's something that I had to rewire myself. Okay, so that's all disconnected. I got the wire that runs from the starter back to the alternator pulled down out of there as well. So all of my cables are completely clear of the fuel tank and hood. So when this all comes up and out of the way, it won't hook anything. And then looking at it from inside here as well, you've got like the gauges here that attach, but those are actually on a separate piece. So you'll see this part here is all gonna stay. It's just this top part here, then it runs down your headlights, your grill, and off the other side is what's gonna all come up and out of place. So we're gonna get that all unbolted and then we'll take that off next. So these bolts here are just a 1/2 inch. Okay, so on this, you've got little like retainer clips that come down, and that allows the hood to come forward. This one's got a little bit dented up, so it's not the easiest. But then that lets it fold down and forward. And from here, we're gonna try and take these bolts here out. Okay, so for these side ones, this is an 11/16. Once you get the one side out, this front bumper can come free. You just set that off to the side, or front grille, I guess, rather. Okay, once you do both sides of that, then the front hood is going to be clear. You want to take your radiator cap off, because obviously you're going to need to come up and around that. shut that and latch it just because you don't want it coming loose and flailing when you try and take the whole thing off. So that is removing a hose by yourself. It's way easier with the second person. I would definitely recommend having a second person, but it can be done.